we just got a little bit banged up.
I hate to break the fishing news up, Yaremchuk, but I'd like to speak about the ice hockey.
Congratulations, you're one of the 13 listeners of the Real Life Podcast.
We just traded a migraine in for like an orgasm.
Might want to mark that down, Yaremchuk.
Yep. All of my projects are on schedule until they're not.
A member of the Nation Network of Podcasts.
About as funny as we're going to get today.
Welcome in, episode 242 of the Real Life Podcast. I am Tyler Yaremchuk. My Adobe might not be working. Things are back to normal. We are post-Christmas break. Chalmers is here. Bag Milk is here. Jay as well. Wanye in, I believe, what is now a mouse-free home as well.
Well,
so that's
we'll get to
exciting.
that. Don't worry about that. We'll get there soon.
We will, I will add mouse update onto the list of things we need to talk about. But before we do all that, need to shout out our friends at Oodle Noodle. 14 locations in Edmonton. 15 is coming to Fort Saskatchewan. And of course, as we've been talking about for months now, since the start of the pandemic, 10% of all in-store and curbside pickup proceeds go towards a local charity. They've raised over $100,000 to date. I'm sure it's well over $100,000 now because I've been saying that for a few weeks. But shout out to Oodle Noodle. Yeah, there we go. What's up? What's new? How was everyone's Christmas weekend? Wanye, how was the first Christmas being a papa?
Oh, well, I'll tell you, it was quiet. If this is what Wanye Jr. thinks Christmas is, he is sorely mistaken. But we had a very good time. Very good time. Yep. How about you, Yaremchuk? Did you have a good Christmas?
Yeah, it was all right. It was quiet, right? And I was talking to my girlfriend. I almost didn't mind it. Like, you know how past Christmas is? It's running around house to house, dinner to dinner and all that. And this year it was just like a weekend where you were forced to sort of stay in your house. We still did Zoom calls and all that. Like, got to talk with my family a little bit. It wasn't the same, but it was nice and quiet. Chalmers, you are out of isolation, out of quarantine. You're ready to rock.
You were quarantining, Chalmers?
So, yeah, right before, it's got to be about 10 days now. To be honest with you, the only reason I'm in my truck is to do this, and it's the first time I've driven my truck in probably a week.
Wow.
And literally only driving my truck to get out of my house and drive my truck. Like, I'm going somewhere to just look at a couple jobs, but yeah, I've been in isolation. My son had a close contact, and I also had a close contact at one of my job sites. Just happened to be on the exact same day, which was a Friday, not Christmas Day, but the week before. And we went and got tested. They were negative, but still, you're supposed to be in isolation. So, I mean, what's the difference between my truck and my house? I figure. So I'm getting out. But
just an extension of your house. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and on Christmas, we did, obviously Christmas is a lot different, and this year, we decided that we weren't going to go, traditional at all, and we got Chinese food, and it was awesome. We did nothing, and we went, my wife went to go pick up the Chinese food, and there was, 30 people in the lobby of this Chinese food restaurant, so it was packed, it was fun, it was just, we watched all the Star Wars. I've been getting up to date on my Star Wars again.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Even the Phantom Menace?
We did. Yes, we did.
Oh.
We did. We watched
the Federation Trade Blockade?
Yeah. So, we're just not at the first three. We're at Rogue One right now.
Oh,
but
you're going, okay, nice. I like it.
But see, what we did was we watched the first old three, and then we watched, the Phantom Menace, Clone Wars, and Attack of the Clones, or whatever it's called. And then we watched Solo Story and Rogue One. And then I think the next couple days is going to be
Solo
the newer
makes
one.
sense. Rogue One, you got to squeeze in because that's about the building of the Death Star. Is that pre? Is that pre the original three?
So no. So Rogue One basically is right before. It's when they're stealing the plans for the Death Star. So it's kind of like right before New Hope starts. Right before Princess Leia is trying to get the plans back to the rebellion.
Sorry to interrupt you, Chalmers. One of the things that blew me away with the newest ones is how they explained why the Death Star was so easy to blow up. Did you follow that storyline? Yeah. Because I used to always think, it is ridiculous to me that they can take 3 X-Wing fighters and blow up the Death Star with a single bomb, like bombing womp rats in a wigwam or whatever it was.
Well, they explained that in Rogue One.
They explained it because it was designed to be destroyed.
Yeah, there was what do they call it? Infiltration in the system. The engineer was planted a little.
When I saw that and they explained that, I was like, I think we're going to be okay with Disney owning Star Wars because they're taking the time to mine the original 3 plot lines for like Easter eggs for super fans and shit. I was so satisfied.
But we needed that. We needed that as Star Wars fans.
Of course.
You could just poke holes in the fact they could destroy it so easily. Like, oh, of course. Like, just like how now that they have to do one about why the stormtroopers have terrible aim.
And so, yeah, exactly. And so the one thing that I did notice also was in A New Hope, Return of the Jedi, and Empire Strikes Back, they've remastered them and they've done some new CGI and they've added stuff, right?
Oh yeah.
And so, like, the one thing that they added, which really kind of just like it kind of threw me off, and I kind of had to explain to my son, like, this wasn't there before, and it's kind of weird now. And that is at the end of Empire Strikes Back, when they're all partying with the Wookiees and seems like everything's great.
Oh yeah.
And then Luke's over in the side and he sees the hologram like of Yoda and Obi-Wan Kenobi, and then all of a sudden Anakin's there. Like Hayden Christensen Anakin is there. And you're just like, oh my God. Okay, son, that guy wasn't there before. Like, you didn't know this. It's kind of interesting. But and then the one little other nugget that I forgot about was that the one thing that Yoda told Obi-Wan Kenobi to do while he was looking after Luke to complete his training was to learn from the Liam Neeson character eternal life. And basically, he had figured out how to die and never die.
Yeah.
And so when you see Obi-Wan Kenobi get struck down, you realize, when you look back now, you realize
he turns into a ghost.
He allowed himself to get killed, and that's why Yoda disappears as well. And you never really kind of knew that. You know what I mean? Until you saw the the Phantom. Well, not even the Phantom Medicine, but the Clone Wars. So it's just, man, you could it's so cool how they did it, and like how the story just keeps evolving.
I don't understand why they had to put in testicles on C-3PO with CGI. It wasn't necessary for the plot line. I'm like, do they really have to go back? This must have cost good money to add these balls in.
Would you say your Chuck a bionic twig and berries?
Oh, yeah, wow. you certainly could say a bionic twig and berries, and they have an exciting Boxing Day sale I'm going to tell everyone about a little bit later on in the podcast. I honestly had no idea you guys were such big Star Wars fans. But you guys are kind of like that prime generation, though, right? Like that.
Oh, shut the fuck up, you're Chuck. We're the same generation.
Well, I'm not the same generation. At the time for me, the movie the very first movie came out 3 years before I was even born.
Oh, really?
So, like, oh yeah, 1977.
What, you think we're in the fucking early 80s walking around knowing what's up? Come on, you're in.
I don't know the timeline.
Driving Trans Am?
Come on. Wait a minute, this is a pretty cool timeline.
Just a quick update on something that happens in my condominium that I brought up. Smoking grandma is back pressing her face up against the screen, blowing smoke out instead of actually just smoking outside.
It's not even cold out today, Grandma. Put yourself together.
Yeah.
You earned that dart.
It's the funniest thing to watch. Anyways, I had no idea you guys were such big Star Wars fans.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Star Wars. I love every bit of it.
I've seen them all once.
It's just good.
I've seen them all once, and that's kind of it for me.
I've only ever seen the original, the ones from the 70s. I haven't seen any of the new ones.
That is shocking to me, Bag Milk, as a man of the internet.
I'm just not I'm not a Star Wars guy. I didn't watch Star Trek either.
What?
Yeah, no, none of it.
I think I'm the only Star Trek fan on the show.
I'm a fan of it. I'm not as big as you. I'm really into Star Trek Discovery, though.
Oh, yeah.
The new series, yeah.
I like the movies, the newer movies they made for Star Trek. Those are kind of cool. They just were visually cool. But I don't know how, I'm not a Trekkie in the sense of knowing, is it accurate to timelines or whatever. I have no idea. I don't care. I just like looking at pretty movies.
Fair enough.
I've watched a lot of fucking shows I would normally never, ever watch because of this. I don't know if you guys have heard there's a pandemic going on.
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
I'm wondering, though, when are we going to hit maximum pandemic cabin fever? Because it's time.
3 months ago.
But we still probably have 4 or 5 months of this shit ahead of us.
Oh, I know, but I've had cabin fever since
I've had
March 18th.
Yeah, buddy, I was freaking out in January about this shit. I'm almost running a year of this life. But I got to figure out when to roll out my Trump card, which now has completely different meaning. Let me rephrase that. My checkmate move on the pandemic, because I still get to watch Game of Thrones.
I haven't watched Game of Thrones either. That's in my queue. I did a big battle with a certain service provider last week, and they had to hook me up with all kinds of free shit on my bill because they canceled my service.
So Game of Thrones is like your guys' like pictures on your computer. My wife said that over the pandemic, she was going to organize all the pictures on our computer, and it's been 8 months, and I don't even think she sat down to look at them. And we were going to put them on like this hard disk, like one of those like 1 terabyte hard drives that you can like store, so they're safe. So you're saying Game of Thrones is like that for you? Like,
well, I know Game of Thrones is rad. I know that. I've known it's the best TV show of all time. I was just saving it, right?
So we're going to get to the end of March 2021, and you're still not going to watch Game of Thrones? And you'd be like, where did the time go?
Yeah, that'll probably be it.
You know what? I bet you on the other side of this, a lot of people are going to be like, where did the time go?
I have a little bit of that, like looking back and being like, you know what? Maybe it wasn't that bad. But then, like, in the moment, I'm like, no, this sucks ass. But for me, it's flown by a little bit.
I was supposed to be jacked AF right now, and I'm probably the heaviest I've ever been. So, yeah.
What do you mean jacked AF? What was your plan?
We bought a Peloton, and we were going to work out, and I was going to get very, very healthy. 40 was going to be the year that I got in the best shape of my life, and
quit smoking, though.
That's huge.
That's true. That's true.
Off the Red Bull.
Yeah, off the Red Bull. Well, I mean,
you're making huge moves, Chalmers.
Allegedly.
He replaced with Slurpee consumption, though.
You know what? I'm down on Slurpees. I don't know what it is with the cold or whatever, but I'm down on my Slurpee intake. Plus, I can't go out anymore, so I can't go get anything. So.
Well, you know what I did last night? I had a hankering for a strawberry cheesequake blizzard, and I ordered one on Skip the Dishes.
Really?
Sometimes you got it.
Did it travel well?
Yeah.
It traveled great. Because you want to know why I had to order one? I won both of my NFL fantasy leagues last night.
Wow.
And I wanted to celebrate. Nation Real Life. You guys couldn't handle the Connor McDavid, could you?
Yeah. Who'd you beat in the finals? John?
John. Yeah. We had Alvin Kamara. Enough said.
Yeah.
These are fake people. Who are these people?
6 touchdowns in championship weekend is unbelievable.
And it should have been 7.
Yeah.
I'm in the finals of the league I do with my buddies. I need 47.7 points from Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen tonight to win me the league.
You know what? That's legit. That's legit doable against.
No,
they combined for 70 last week, I think.
Yeah, but they don't need to. They gained 0 from this game. So my hot take.
No, they lock up. Don't they lock up second in the division or in the conference?
They've already locked up the division. But
they have nothing to gain.
No, not the division. Like second in the conference.
I differ. I beg to differ with you, JR. The Bills have been constantly beaten up by the Patriots over the last 10 to 15 years. Yeah. You tell me that this game doesn't mean anything?
With old Big Newton at the helm, eh, your M-Chuck? With old Big Newton at the helm.
I think exactly on the contrary. They're going to keep themselves sharp. They're not going to let themselves, like, sit back and just not play their hardest. I believe that they're going to kick the shit out of them tonight.
I think Allen...
a horrific hot take. I think, because I still have my kicker to go. Like, I'm so far ahead in the Nation Real Life fantasy football that I've got my kicker left against Josh Allen, and I'm so far ahead it doesn't even matter. My hot take is I think the kicker will get more fantasy points than Josh Allen will today.
Well, that is the dumbest thing I think.
Do you want to put money on that?
Yeah, I would love to.
Give me the juice.
What you don't? You can't make a hot take and then ask for juice. There's no like. That's
what do you want?
Works.
What do you want? Because I will bet you on this.
A hot take is a reach. Oh yeah. If you want to bet that, you got to pay to bet it.
Okay, so what are you thinking?
You give me 4-1.
4-1?
Fuck that.
That's dumb.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Chalmers, I placed a bet, Mr. Betting. Tell me if I did well. I took Canada on the over against Germany.
Yeah,
how they do, boys? I didn't see the news. I
want to talk about that game a little bit because I was really irritated with the people on Twitter being like, "Oh, what is Canada doing? Like running up the score, blah 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 blah."
Differential is so important. You have to. That's the
way
it's
name a bigger
designed,
defeat? Your M-Chuck, can you name a bigger defeat Germany has suffered? Chalmers, thoughts on that history burn?
No,
thoughts on a burn that is 105 years old? Is it the World War I burn? Boom, Shalaka. How about Connor and Leon placing a bet? That was cute, eh?
Well, yeah, they were talking about that on
like
TSN.
$1 million.
Yeah, they did the interview. Leon had no audio in the interview, and then they're like, place a bet, and kind of rolls his eyes.
What about Connor saying like, "Well, we had talked about getting together for this one"?
I saw that, but they have vaccines already, man.
They haven't been vaccinated.
Yes, they have. Your Chuck.
Really?
Yes, they have. Of course, they have.
No, like, do you know that? Or
Yeah,
you just
man.
say that?
He would have got his shot an hour after Joe Biden. Don't worry about that. Fucking, we may let Sophie Gregoire Trudeau go down to the ship, but Connor McDavid had a fucking Moderna vaccine as the first one rolled off the conveyor belt.
You know what I like about the World Juniors and watching them with my son who's 9? It never like ceases to amaze the dots he doesn't put together when he's watching hockey. How I'm like, yeah, Leon Draisaitl's like German, he knows that, and then I'm like, the coach of the German team is his dad, right, or whatever, and like I'm like, yeah, so he played for that team, and he saw a clip and he's like, did he play for Germany? I'm like, yeah, son, he's German, and he's like, holy smoke, so he's really like he was good back then too. I'm like, yes, son, yes, that's
He's
how it
always
works.
been good.
All these players that play on these teams, they play for their country, and then their ultimate goal is to make it to the NHL. And it just was like, oh, that's so cool. And now he's like completely invested in the World Juniors.
Show him the video of Draisaitl's dad taking one off there in the shootout. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
Was that World Championships, the Olympics?
I think it was Olympics. Yeah.
Remember the German guy who came on the show, Chalmers, and he talked about how Leon Draisaitl's dad was like a German hockey hero.
Yeah.
But he had this super famous goal in the Olympics where I think somebody took it like off the head and made a crazy save or something, wasn't it?
You know, the puck literally was rolling.
Oh yeah.
To go, it got through the goalie, was rolling, and then lied flat and stopped right on the
died. And had it gone in, it's game over, and they win.
Yeah.
It is funny. Leon Draisaitl wins Germany's Athlete of the Year this year. So the best German athlete in the world is playing in Edmonton. Meanwhile, the best athlete from Edmonton is playing in Germany. Best athlete in Canada this year, you could say, because Alphonso Davies is playing for Bayern. It's funny how there's that connection now between Canada
we had
and
to
Germany.
make that trade.
I thought you were talking about Ryan Jones.
We had to make that trade.
They should
swap Leon Draisaitl. Exactly, because soccer's their big sport, hockey's our big sport.
Yeah.
We made an internet, what is it, an International Trade Federation blockade or whatever the hell.
Nicely done.
We had a little back channel there, and that's a fair swap. I would trade Alphonso Davies for Leon Draisaitl 100 times out of 100 because I love Bayern Munich and he plays for them, and all my German friends love Bayern Munich, so that makes me happy that an Edmonton boy can help provide them joy over there.
I bet
Would
you
it be
now. Oh, sorry, Ben.
Would it be a hot take to say that the preliminary rounds of the World Juniors kind of suck?
Maybe, but you always get the couple interesting games that make you want to watch. Like Czech Republic beating Russia last night and watching those kids go absolutely bananas after the win. That was a ton of fun. Like that was worth sitting down and watching. And to an extent, it's fun to kind of watch Team Canada go through the round robin and get a feel for how the tournament's kind of going. Like they beat
I know that it wouldn't have been the case had there been fans in the stadium at Rogers Place. Germany wouldn't have lost 196-2. But imagine, Jay. Well, yeah, because of the COVID impact on the lineup, right?
Yeah, that's good.
They have like a
but imagine just for a
roster.
moment suspending all the timelines. Imagine, Jay, being at a World Junior game in Edmonton where it's 16-2 Canada, how drunk you'd be.
Oh, yeah, that would be wild.
Like, man, that used to happen all the time. Like,
World Juniors in Edmonton? Never.
No. Not at World Juniors in Edmonton. We used to always beat up on the Swiss or like Germany.
Oh, yeah.
Austria,
But just
in the first game of the tournament, you just be like, oh, God, this is going to be bad. And like
World Juniors in Edmonton, though, where you see a whooping of that quality in your home arena, around goal 3, I'd have been like, I should have a beer for every goal we score. And about goal 9, I'd be like, that was a bad idea. And then by goal 16, I'd be like, somebody call Stars Air Ambulance to airlift me off the concourse.
I'd probably feel bad and be giving golf claps by the 7th goal. I don't think I'd be standing up at this point. And I'd be like, hey, you know what? Stop with the siren. We probably don't need the siren anymore.
You know,
when I was watching TSN
on the road, if I was in Europe watching Team Canada win 16-2, because I'm on the road and in holiday mode, I would celebrate every goal as if it was the game winner. Oh, for sure.
When I was watching the highlights on when I was on TSN I was watching TSN, and they were about to show like all the goals. I literally watched 4 and then went, you know what? This isn't nice. I'm gonna go grab something from the kitchen. And they said on the highlights, like, we're gonna stop it here because it's not nice. So like, isn't that nice? That's so Canadian. We beat you 16-2. We won't show all the goals on TV.
To piggyback on top of I don't like the preliminary round. I really dislike the pre-competition because of what exactly happened to our Canadian captain. That stuff can fucking go away.
Oh,
I was
and
excited to watch him.
I was excited to watch him too, and like the picture that came out after of what his wrist looked like was gross,
nasty.
It was zigging when it should be zagging.
That was such an innocent play.
Yeah, and like a nothing play. I said it, but it was a meaningless play in a meaningless game. Like at a meaningless point in that meaningless game as well. Like late in the third, you're up, and I mean he lobbied hard to get Chicago to release him for this tournament because he wanted to play in the World Juniors because he didn't get to last year. And like that sucked, man. He would have been a ton of fun to watch. And now also Dylan Holloway out with an upper body injury. No one knows what's going on with him.
There's no update, eh?
No, they have a day off here, so maybe he'll be back in the lineup. But I didn't even notice a point in the Germany game where he got hurt. Like someone said there was a collision or something. I did not notice it. So
there was. It was the same hit where the Canadian player got suspended on.
Oh really?
Yeah. He crushed a German guy. Holloway was skating kind of past him, and the force of the German player getting hit into Holloway hit Holloway in the head with his like elbow, and Holloway was not expecting it.
Oh
but he played the rest of the game.
Yeah. Anyways, Hockey Canada is doing the 50-50 thing again. Alberta residents only. I didn't notice. What did the jackpot get up to? Or like, what's the deal here? What's going on? Anyone know?
I thought somebody would know. Jay, didn't know?
Oh, well, I've just been buying my tickets and not really been paying attention to the pot and just waiting to see if I won.
Wow, that's confidence of a winner.
Well, yeah, it hasn't been working. They've been getting up there. I just don't know.
Like we talked about what their planned jackpot was for like the gold medal game and all that.
Yep.
But
so if you go to hockeycanada.ca/50/, you can grab your tickets there. Right now, the current pot today, as we record on a Monday afternoon at 1:30, is already $92,000.
Nice.
So the pots are coming up.
Yeah,
they're climbing.
Good stuff. Speaking of World Juniors, how about our boy Philip Broberg? Whew.
Woo.
He is hot. He is a. Oh wait, I got a button for this. Philip Broberg.
He's a hot guy.
He is a hot guy.
Yes, he is.
I watched a couple of shifts from their first game of the tournament, and there were times in the offensive zone where he just gets the puck and does like a complete lap, and no one touches him. Like he's unreal, man. That was one of the moments I was wrong about. I was not overly happy when they took him. I wanted Caulfield, but I was dead wrong because Broberg, that's a legitimate prospect. He's going to be a good player for the Oilers in a few years.
Well, we love our boy who's now out for the year, which sucks. But there's a sexer Swede on the back end even coming up.
Yes.
Yeah, they need to add like more ab shots. I feel like would probably do some promo for the World Juniors. You know, Remchuk, the Swedish all abs team that the Oilers are putting together here is very impressive.
Why not make, rather than an ad on the front of the jersey, just like a clear, viewable section of the abs of the jersey? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So the whole time he's playing, cut it out, straight cut.
I gotta say, speaking of ads on helmets, I was a little bit surprised how upset some people were about the tiny little.
I know.
Oh, for fuck's sake, people,
and
shut up.
The best part is when people respond with like a picture of the helmet that says Bauer on the front, and they're like, there already is a fucking ad on the helmet, Bauer. Ooh. So like, I'm surprised how many people are like angered by it. I'm also surprised at the amount of people being like, if these organizations like knew what was good, they would be donating that ad space to local businesses. And I'm like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, I get it. Like, yes, big corporations, they should be doing something good. But like, are we really expecting the Toronto Maple Leafs to have like some random place on their helmet? No. Well, they're obviously doing this to make money.
It's not even I don't even think it is to make money. It's just to make it whole with their current sponsor.
Yeah, that too.
I think that's a big part of it, so they don't lose part of their revenue. So I don't think it's the gain. I think, like, I've heard some stuff. I haven't obviously gone deep enough into it. So
Rick West had reported that the NHL as a whole was hoping to gain $15 million in revenue from this, with teams like Toronto and Montreal being able to charge $1 million, and some smaller market teams maybe going more the route that you're talking about, Jay, where it's like, hey,
it's $1 million for the season to be on the jersey,
to be on the helmet.
On the helmet, that's a better deal than being on the rink board.
Oh yeah, because when you think about like highlights, pictures of the players, like Wish.com has the Lakers ad for their jersey, and LeBron was on the cover of Time magazine, and the fucking Wish logo is on the cover of Time magazine now because of LeBron, and it's prominent, like it's right there. So like it is smart. Like you're basically, if you want to be on the Oilers helmet, think of the Connor McDavid hockey cards and every highlight that's going to be shown of him celebrating a goal. All of that, like your logo was more or less front and center because it's right next to his beautiful face.
Yeah, you'll see Oodle Noodle on his helmet. It'll be beautiful.
Oh, beautiful.
I noticed in the promos for the World Juniors too, when they have the cartoon characters of all the hockey players that are playing, and it's like all the NHLers that have played, and they're front and center, they got Austin Matthews, and then like in a V, like, geese would fly, or all the rest of them. And McDavid's like third on the right. Like, what the hell are they doing?
Goddamn Matthews.
He did a piece with GQ about his favorite stuff. Austin Matthews? Yeah. So he did a piece with GQ. I actually thought it was cool. I think he's a pretty cool guy.
Oh, do you? Well, why don't the two of you go live together on an island and fuck right off?
He revealed that a few years ago, he bought Dove ladies deodorant, and he's just never gone back. It was an interesting thing for him to say, but I kind of thought it was funny.
I know someone who runs ladies deodorant and says the same thing. He's like, I just can't get off it.
I use, thanks to Jen Sharp, wife of Nation Sales Master Jared Sharp, I use women's like body wash and stuff in the shower. Makes my skin feel nice.
I don't even want to know how the hell that conversation went down for you to learn about that.
I'll tell you right now.
At the Sharp's house, showering in their shower, and was like, ooh.
That's exactly it. And then I was like, you know what? I feel really nice with all these wonderful lotions and things that you have in your shower, Miss Sharp. And she's like, you should use the elevator
down another floor and say, why were you in their shower?
No, this was actually at our Nation brunch party where I was complaining of dry skin. And that's where she gave me a little ladies tip. You know what? Sometimes you need a ladies tip, your Remchuck.
So you're the kind of guy you invite to a brunch party, you start talking about his psoriasis?
That's right. That's exactly right. I got a little bit of eczema, a little bit of psoriasis.
Might have to send you to the Austin Matthews, your Remchuck Island if you don't want to step.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of feeling good, I'm always feeling good thanks to the products at Twig and Berries. And right now, you can take advantage of their great Boxing Day sale. I'm looking at some of the stuff right now, like their nutsack underwear, which I think we can all on this podcast say is absolutely fantastic.
Tremendous.
It's as cheap as $12.98 right now on their Boxing Day sale. They got a ton of different underwear. They got socks on there for super cheap. They got sweats for super cheap as well. Not just their own nutsack brand either. You can get the blue one. Oh, the blue one's included. So you can match myself in bagged milk. But they got two under. They got a ton of really good companies up on the site. Some long sleeve stuff, some toques, get you ready for the outdoor rink as well. twigandberries.ca. Check them out. And don't forget, promo code NATION15 gets you 15% off. No judgment, no shaming, no fancy words, just real men. That's twigandberries.ca. And we also have another thing. We talked about Oodle Noodle off the top of the show, but we did not get into an Oodle Noodle listener profile. We didn't do one last week because it was our Christmas episode and everyone was too drunk, except for me, on the podcast. But our official listener questionnaire, this week we're going to our Instagram DMs, and it is Chandler Dixon. For work, he does pest control and is currently in school for marketing. A fun fact about himself, he has almost every episode of Saved by the Bell memorized.
Like the dialogue?
Boy, I love it.
To the point of the dialogue, or just the general plot line?
What does when Jesse is taking speed after that episode? Remember where she's trying to stay up for her exam, and she says, "I'm so excited," and she says it 4 times. What is the next thing that she says?
I'm so scared.
Chandler's not here to answer, but maybe he'll go into the answer.
You don't need him. You got me. Saved by the Bell aficionado.
Sorry, Chandler. We got Jay.
He'll probably whip me.
Chandler started listening to the podcast in the off-season heading into the 2018-19 season, so that would have been right around the time I believe the Oilers drafted Bouchard? Or would that have been Broberg? I have no clue. I'm trying to think on the fly, and that never goes well when I do that on this podcast.
I think that's Broberg.
Yeah, it would have been Broberg. His favorite moment on the podcast, it's a Chalmers moment. When Chalmers shared the story about him chasing down his stolen car. That was a great story.
That's a legendary story.
That is a great story.
That is as good as the story gets. Yeah. Should be a movie.
And
I appreciate you, Chandler.
The fact it took us it took this podcast 150 episodes to get that story out is insane. Also, he got a shout out in the playoff prep episode, which he said was dope. His favorite Oilers memory, his first Oilers game in 2002. Oh man. A game against Minnesota that ended in a 2-2 tie. That was his first ever Oilers game.
Nice.
Isn't that what every game against Minnesota ends
on
up
brand?
like?
Yeah,
normally Minnesota wins.
Nothing says early 2000s hockey like Oilers versus Minnesota tied it 2. Chandler says he was just happy that Tommy Salo was starting. His honorable mention was just his first time seeing McDavid in person as well. His go-to oodle noodle order, he doesn't have one, because he's living in the States currently. But next time he comes up to Edmonton, he promises us he will check it out.
Where is he living? Did he share that information?
No, he does not share that information. He also didn't give us a number. So on behalf of Chandler Dixon, I apologize for that. But there's your listener profile. If you want to follow Chandler, he's at Chandler Dixon 97 on Instagram.
He did bring up
respect.
He did bring up Saved by the Bell, so I assume he's got some kind of number worth. Shout out to Tiffany Amberseason. Thank you.
Wow. Yes.
He adds in there his first time seeing McDavid in person. And I think one of the small things I miss about Oilers hockey is just the buzz in the arena when Connor McDavid would get the puck and start turning up ice. The way everyone in Rogers Place, it's like a little hum. Yeah. Everyone knows something could happen and it's like, oh. And I mean, that goal he scored in the season opener against Vancouver last year. Big point in the game. On one leg, coming off the injury, and just to turn on a dime like that, and the second he gets sort of that little look in his eyes, everyone in Rogers Place feels it. I miss that. I want that back soon.
I remember Connor McDavid's first preseason game. They were fucking around. We got there early, and they were doing the horseshoe drill or whatever they do beforehand. And he had no helmet on. And remember, he didn't even want to have a good number in training camp. Remember, he kept saying, I don't know if I'm going to make the team.
Yeah, if I make the team.
I remember watching him before, the pregame skate for his first preseason game and getting goosebumps from watching him play. He was that good without a helmet on. I miss Connor McDavid so much.
I do too.
Really?
We're only weeks away, man. Weeks away.
I know, man.
Everything that goes along with the season, too. I'm excited to hopefully start up my pregame podcast again, get wrap-ups on the site from Bag Milk, all that shit. Unreal. Just
it's going to be busy.
Away.
The interesting thing, if you guys really looked at the schedule, there's only 2 Sunday games for the Oilers this year. I found that interesting. A lot of Saturday nights, a lot of back-to-backs, but not much on Sunday.
If I'm not mistaken, aren't most of the battles of Alberta on Fridays or Saturdays as well? That was my favorite part of the schedule was that, I mean, not only are we getting 10 Battle of Albertas, but for the most part, they're on Fridays or Saturdays. Our livers better
It is going to be so sweet to watch the Oilers shit kick the Flames and then go stand and look out my dining room window.
Yeah, I need any more reasons to crack a cold one on a Friday or Saturday. That's
what up? Looking out the window. How's that going? Yeah.
So I was thinking about this when you guys were talking about just cabin fever and when everything was taken away from us in March with the pandemic. I was listening to something the other day where there was a guy complaining about having too much sports to watch, football's on, basketball's on. Yeah, there was I think it was the PNC Golf Championship weekend where I don't actually think it was that, but he's and then we got hockey coming up. It's just too much, and I'm like,
oh my god.
What? How?
Dude, remember when there was
6
zero?
Months ago, when we had 0 things to watch, and all we would have given anything for just a Saturday night hockey game, and we could have watched the Columbus Blue Jackets versus the Minnesota Wild. I didn't care. Yeah. I would have done anything to watch that game, and now you can, and now you can watch any of it. It's coming up, man. We'll have football on a Sunday. We could potentially have football, basketball, and hockey on a Saturday night.
Well, I was even just thinking about the return to play in the summer when games started at 10 a.m. or whatever and ran right through until 11. Those were some of the best days of the summer where it just overload of hockey and then mix in a couple of bets here and there on some teams maybe you didn't care about just to spice things up a little bit. It was fun.
Mm-hmm. The minute the Oilers were out, I didn't give a fuck about the NHL.
Well, that's
I got
I
a little bit of
was
that.
livid mad. I was livid mad for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I still am mad.
Oh God!
I got one good game, one good cheer this year was that one game they beat Chicago, and I was so confident.
The best game from that summer tournament was the exhibition one against the Flames because it looked like they actually cared.
Yeah. Where they went away to and why they didn't show up will be one of the mysteries of the modern age.
Speaking of the upcoming NHL season and betting, and this is probably something to ask our friend Scott Hastings about when we have him on Thursday, but Connor McDavid's over-under on the sportsbook I use is 81.5 points.
Oh, that's a lot of points.
Yeah.
So, last year, we did this on Oilers Nation Radio, Tyler. Last year, if he maintained the points per game pace, he would have been somewhere around 86 or 87 in a 56-game season.
So Connor McDavid on one leg was producing at an 86, 87 point pace in a 56-game season. I hammered over 81.5. If he's healthy, he's doing it.
They have to be taking into account what he's done against like teams like Calgary then, hey? Like they have to be looking at that the 56 games aren't a regular 56 games. That we're playing 10 against Calgary. You know,
well,
like
he'll get 4 points a game in every TO game, you know that. So then oh yeah.
Are we not worried about a team like Calgary? You know, I know you can't shut down Connor McDavid. So don't take that to be what
good
I'm
luck
here.
Yeah, you communist.
But you can figure out a way to like slow him down a bit, and if you find that out in like game 3, then the next 7 are going to be.
How the hell do you
flip that? Man,
my concern
game 3. You're going to get scored on in game 3, and then you're going to get 4 goals in game 4.
My concern, if anything, with the Flames is just a lack of discipline, because I imagine by the time game 4, 5, 6 of the Battle of Alberta rolls around, people are going to be trying to stab each other a la Happy Gilmore.
This has the potential to reignite the Battle of Alberta for real. Because I swear for the last 15 years, the only people hyped about the Battle of Alberta were the reporters.
It reignited last year.
When Lucic punched Smith, that one at the end of the 2 years ago, that kind of got it going. And then Kachuk running around and being a twat, that's awesome.
I mean, a goalie fight. How many goalie fights were there last year?
But a 10 Flames games this year, that might really actually reignite the motherfucker.
Chalmers, my counterpoint to what you said about teams figuring out Connor McDavid, he's the smartest player on the ice. He's gonna use it against you, like reverse psychology. They're gonna sit there and be like, all right, here's how we're gonna shut down McDavid, take away the passing lanes, and he's just gonna go, all right, fuck you, I'll start shooting it in the net, and then they'll be like, take away the shot, double team him, and he'll just find the open man.
Yeah, I'm not. I never once thought that anybody could shut him down. Like he's just too good. But slowing down is another thing. And you know when you see like in football a defense that plans for an offense, it takes them a good 3 quarters to figure out something to do, right? And so he'll have to have that time where he has to figure out. I'm just look when I think about a betting line, I with my heart says, yeah, I'd love to see him go over 82. So I would love to bet that. But my brain has to look at both sides of it and think, look, there's a potential. Like I don't even want to say what my brain thinks because it's not good, right?
Potential for him to get injured.
Are you referring to your brain like the 8th person right now?
Yeah.
Isn't your brain thinking what you're thinking?
This is very meta.
Yeah, very meta.
So if I'm to step back and watch my brain think, this is what I'm watching my brain think. If that makes any sense.
Okay.
It does not, but I understand
for sure.
You're breaking the 8th wall.
If you guys take his whatever his projected points total for let's say a 50-game season last year, and you make that the high, and that's his over/under, that doesn't make any sense to me. Like the over/under should not be his high spot. Like
it's not
his high water.
Yeah, the over/under is about 5-6 points less than what he would have got last year in a similar pace.
Connor is going to knock on 100 point store if he's healthy for the entire season
on a 54-game season.
He could do it, man. He can do it. Connor's mad, and yes, I drink the Kool-Aid and whatever, but like he could do it.
I also think
this is going
to be an interesting challenge for other teams because this is the first time in years that the Oilers actually have a top 9 that can probably score. So it won't just be all the pressure on Connor and Leon to produce, which is going to cause havoc for other teams' defensive play.
Are we going to do your M-Check like a preseason show where we all make predictions and shit?
Yeah, we should do that. We should make that maybe our last show before the season starts on January 13th.
And just to make sure I understand what's going on, the winner of the Canadian division goes on, or does the top 2 teams play for teams?
Top four make the playoffs. 1 plays 4, 2 plays 3. Winners of that play each other. Winner of that goes to the conference finals or the Final Four. And here's an interesting part too. They're going to reseed after in that Final Four. So there's a chance that we get like a Oilers pick another. We could get an Oilers Golden Knights Stanley Cup final potentially.
Those motherfuckers.
Right? Like you could get, if we're taking Edmonton out of it, you could get Montreal Boston in the Stanley Cup final this year potentially. Like the matchups are going to be crazy. I think.
And so then they're going to go to play in every Canadian city. Every city's going to have games, correct?
Yeah, they're traveling. They're playing
and
out of their
there's no
home games.
mention of fans, or is there mention of fans?
In the States,
markets,
there are, yeah.
Yeah, Dallas and Florida.
Now, that's great. I don't give one fuck. Do we get to go to games?
No.
We do not get to go to games.
Not off the start.
Yeah, but
I bet you at some point this season, I got to think that, it depends, I guess, how fast things move, but I got to think there'd be some ability to have fans in the stands.
Okay, wait.
I'm going to cut your. Wait, go ahead.
You are probably second to Bag Milk for the amount of time spent outside of your house in this pandemic. Are you telling me that if they said you could get your tickets right now, that would be something you would do? You would.
Yeah, man. I'll be like, hey, baby Wanye, I'll see you in a year. I'm going to go watch games. You get it. And he'd nod, and then I'd go watch games. I don't give a fuck.
Real? That's interesting.
I'm in there, buddy. At the minute they let me into Rogers, I'm going.
Yep.
Bag Milk, same thing?
No.
Oh, wow.
I have beer at my house. I have a very comfortable couch, and you guys enjoy the game. I will be there.
I'll wear 5 N95 masks, a hazmat suit, and a condom for maximum protection. I do have a hazmat suit. I will wear it to the game. I'm not even kidding. I have one.
Just dress up as something like Oilers related, but that protects you.
I have a hazmat suit, man. I'm going to wear a hazmat suit, put a fucking nation sticker on it, and be like, hey, nation. But really, it's hazmat.
I wonder, this is totally a selfish thing I'm bringing up, but I wonder what they're going to do for media. Like, is it going to be the same thing as the bubble? Like, the World Juniors are letting in some reporters as well. So I'm, for selfish reasons.
Did you go to the playoff games for Edmonton?
No, they only gave our radio station 4 passes, since there were so many like outside media that also traveled in for the games.
Right.
And they told us that if Edmonton advanced as teams like got kicked out, they would give us more. Obviously, that didn't happen, so I didn't get to go. But I'm hoping that for next season, obviously, it'd be just the Edmonton local media. I don't think there's going to be too many reporters like traveling around the country with the teams. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but either way, I'm hoping I get to be in there.
How the hell is this going to work? Like, if they let in, how many fans is Florida letting in, for example?
Probably like 15% capacity or whatever.
I would say all of the fans they have, which is a handful.
Florida's like, we're going to let in 15% capacity. Florida still doesn't sell out.
Yeah,
how
like,
the hell
really
did we get ourselves to the front of the line so that we are in the game?
I bet you it might have something to do with the vaccine. I don't know what the rules are surrounding that, but it might be like you need proof of vaccination to get through Ticketmaster's paywall or Ticketmaster's wall they'll have set up.
I'm not joking about going in a hazmat suit, by the way.
Just dress up, try to break in.
I went as a turtle. That was a gas. Well, I want to go as a hazmat. That'll be a gas suit.
It'd be pretty hilarious to see somebody on TV wearing a full hazmat suit.
I'll be like, I'm the new green man. Ha-ha.
Well, that's what I mean. You could jazz it up. You could be like another mascot.
That's cool, man, as long as I got them breathing.
Then you don't have to look like a crazy person in a hazmat suit.
Am I crazy during a pandemic when only 15% of the people are allowed in? I don't think so.
Yeah, fair enough. We're close, though.
It's just also, just to pull back to what we were talking about earlier, Holloway's back in, and he got moved up to the first line, it looked like, at Team Canada practice today. Hang on, I lost it. Cousins and...
or what's his...
Cousins and Guy.
Speaking of people getting in and out, did Jay drop off the show?
Yeah, Jay left. I don't know where he is.
I see.
I see. Jay Downton now trying to just FaceTime me.
Interesting.
That's what that is. Like my favorite thing before Jay comes back in. He calls me on Christmas Eve, I think it was, and he's like, "Bag Milk, I've got a very old man question for you." I'm like, "Okay. How do I set up a Google Hangout so that I can do a digital Christmas dinner with my friends and family?" And boy, did I laugh.
Wow. I'd be like, well, first of all, you might want to hit up google.com, which has answers for most questions.
Yeah.
The best. Tyler, it is Holloway's playing with Mick Michael. And
really?
That's that dude, Connor McDavid, right?
Yeah, that's an interesting trio there.
What a goof name.
Coombsy was pushing hard for the Oilers to draft that guy for like 2 years just so they could have McDavid and McMichael.
He's
For
legit,
sure.
man. He's really good.
I would just make McDavid and McMichael sit in a room, and they both go C-O-N-N. And they go, yeah. They go M-C, yeah. And then when the one guy isn't McDavid, boom, he punches him in the face and say, "You're inferior, bitch." Welcome to the Oilers, ho.
Behind the scenes here, Jay said his phone died and is now texted us saying, "Let me in." There is
says call is ended.
literally nothing I could do. What I could, okay, here, I'm going to try something. I'm going to end this call and then start a new. Oh, you got it?
No, I got it. We do this all the time for nation meetings. I got this one. Don't worry.
Okay.
I just got to send him the old invite again.
Speaking of, I said I took the McDavid over 81.5. Nathan McKinnon's over-under this year was only 64.5.
What's Draisaitl?
I think Draisaitl was around like 75. And Nuge is on there too, Bag Milk. You'll like that. You can go bet on your boy Nuge to
give it to me. What's the
go
number?
over. I will find it. Give me 1 second. Player points.
I say this year, if Nuge is healthy, he's going to be a point-per-game player this year.
Draisaitl is 77.5. Nuge is 50.5 for Nuge.
Oh, you take the over.
That's an
I
interesting
believe in you,
over.
Nuge. I believe in you, Nuge.
There's Stanley Cup futures on that website of yours?
Yeah. Oh, obviously, sportsbooks have them up. Stanley Cup winner. Who do you want to know? Edmonton, 24-1. They
Not
are
bad at all.
Same odds as the New York Islanders, St. Louis Blues, and Dallas Stars. To win,
that puts them whereabouts out of 32. Like, are they a top 10?
They're just outside
is that about
the
8 to 10.
Just outside the top 10. They're 11th, tied for 10th or something like that. Yeah. To win
Bag Milk, you didn't fix this problem. Jay's not on the show.
Well, as you can see in the call here, I keep ringing him, and it keeps waiting for Jay Down to join.
What a fuck!
To win the North Division, the Oilers are 4th on the odds list. Sportsbooks have Toronto, Montreal, then Calgary, then Edmonton.
Whoa.
So that's low for me. Like Edmonton at 5-1 to win the North, coming off a season where they were the best team in the North Division. They had the best points percentage in the regular season last year amongst Canadian teams. I like that. Also, like, I know Montreal has done some interesting stuff, but they are, maybe I'll have to eat my words during the regular season. Like, they're going to be fine, but everyone is overhyping every single one of their acquisitions. They're like, oh, they got Josh Anderson. He's going to be legit. They had to trade their, at one time, 72-point centerman for him. I know Domi was playing on the 4th line towards the end of the year, but Domi was still good. That was an addition, but also a subtraction. They went today, they signed Corey Perry. Corey Perry, I think, is very old, and at this point in his career, pretty average if he's not in the playoffs. Everyone was like, oh, they signed Joel Edmondson. And Joel Edmondson's a third-pairing defenseman. Jake Allen is a supremely overpaid backup goalie. Like, I don't think the Habs are that good. So I think the Oilers will finish ahead of Montreal. I think they'll come ahead of Vancouver as well. I think they'll be neck and neck with Calgary. I think Toronto's an interesting team, but even them, you could poke holes. You can poke holes with every team in this division, though. But Toronto did get better.
I'm more excited about playing Toronto than I am Calgary, to be totally honest with you.
I can see that.
Like, that many Connor versus Mustache Man, I can't wait for him to be buried in a shallow grave somewhere outside of Peel.
I think Toronto's going to be good. I think I could see them winning the division.
I could see them winning the division, but I think you could make a really good case for, like,
how dare you give
3-4 teams.
But you know what? I look at it this way. Like, I like that the Oilers have lowered expectations from outside sources. I think that plays well for them. Like, sure, let all the pressure build up on Toronto winning. Like, fuck them.
I framed, over the holiday season, I framed my hockey news from 2018 where it shows the Oilers as the favorites to win the Cup.
Yeah.
I framed it. It hangs in one manner now.
That was a good time.
Hey, that's my highlight of the damn decade of darkness. That's
Fair.
my playoff victory win, was that hockey news.
Jay, we were talking about betting odds for the upcoming season. Edmonton is 4th in the North Division at 5-1. Calgary, Montreal, and Toronto are all ahead of them.
Sorry, say that all again. I was having some sound difficulties.
Wow, just hold on. Let me ask a few questions here, your Like, on behalf of the show, on behalf of Twig and Berries, Oodle Noodle Corporation. Number one, where did you go? And number two, why were you gone so long?
My phone died, and then I threw it on the charger, and then it fired right back up, and then I couldn't call.
And then you covered your earphone mic?
Working.
And then you covered your microphone so nobody can hear you?
No.
No. It's so quiet.
Yeah, you're very quiet.
Oh, is it? Oh, yeah. Let me just.
This is old man yells at cloud right now. This
Is that better?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, I hear him.
Well, I'm monitoring the levels. It's a little bit better, I guess.
I liked how he was texting like a 16-year-old girl while he was off. Just couldn't figure out anything. What the hell?
Is that better?
On?
It's a little better, yeah.
Is this better?
It's what we like to call passable.
Is this better now?
Yeah, this is good now.
Can you hear me now?
Jesus. Oh my God. Well, my phone died, and then I went and threw it on the charger, and it fired back up. And I'm trying to jump back in the call. It won't let me. It kept saying it ended. Anyways, and then I tried to open up my laptop to access FaceTime through that, and the call wasn't there. So I'm like, shit. So then I started texting. Bagmouth started trying to call me, and then it wasn't coming through on my phone. So then I opened up my laptop, and my laptop started ringing. So here we are. I'm on my laptop.
I hate it when you've got like a laptop going or whatever, and then someone's phone, and like everything in your house starts clanging. Your laptop's ringing, your phone's ringing, your iPad's ringing, your fucking fridge is ringing and shooting ice cubes out the front.
Like I gotta say, I agree with you. I'm a big Apple guy. I love that everything in my house kind of speaks to each other in a way, but if my phone rings, it's ringing on 3 or 4 devices.
Yeah.
Your watch is vibrating, your toilet's bidet is flushing.
Well, thankfully this time I am all hooked up because I was able to jump back on the call as a result of that. But yeah, the other 99% of the time it's annoying.
I have a story about my father, which I know you guys always like. He's a plumber. He has his own plumbing business, and the wholesaler he uses has like a rewards point system. So my dad, for his plumbing business, has been using this one company for like the last over a decade. And he didn't know about the point system, or he didn't know how to log on. And he finally logged on, and he had like 5 million points. He could have bought himself like 5 iPads with the amount of points he's had saved up in this account. So anyways, he bought himself an Apple Watch. And like, my dad is not technologically savvy. I'm stunned he wanted to buy himself this Apple Watch. But it's actually opened up the door for us to communicate a little bit more because it's much easier for him to text. So like, I was sitting on my couch the other day, and I just got a text from him that just says, "How much have you had to drink today?" And it was like 11. And I was like, "None. Why?" And he's like, "I don't know, just testing out my watch." And then
you say that's none of your fucking business, Dad.
And then
we got
hugging.
It's fucking 2020. We got Dick Tracy watches. We got flying cars, and this is what you're using it for? Fuck.
And then he calls me. So I'm getting a call from my dad. I'm like, oh, it must be something important. So I answer. I'm like, hello? And he's like, hey, what are you doing? And I'm like, just sitting on the couch watching basketball. And he was like, okay, well, I'm just testing out my watch. See ya. And he hung up. And that was our whole conversation. It's hilarious to watch him use this thing.
Gee, I want one of those just because I love the stats they generate. Are you guys still loving the whoops or what?
What's a whoop whoop?
I like my whoop a lot.
What is it? What does it mean?
Another reason why I'm so tired is I'm coming off of a 12% recovery.
What does this mean? Explain.
It's like a more intense Fitbit in terms of like the information that you get. It really drills in on your recovery.
What does recovery mean?
It monitors your heart rate at every second of the day. And not only does it monitor your heart rate, but it monitors what they call your heart rate variability, which is the space in between your heartbeats, which is not always the exact a smaller space in between your heart recovery and a bigger space in between your heartbeats is totally different. It shows how your body's recovering, how you are, how your body's feeling, how your body is, I guess, straining. What they call strain is like footsteps. It's how much work you're putting in every day.
I don't need no
much effort.
Tell me how much effort I'm putting in and how I'm feeling today.
Well, it does. It's good to know because there's days where you know that you can put a lot of strain on, and then there's days where it's saying, "Whoa, you should probably just kind of chill today to let yourself recover."
Is there a setting on the watch that says you're not allowed to leave your house, Wanye, for a year? Is there one of those? That's how I'm doing.
It'll tell you that you're pumping out no strain as a result, though.
Well, I walk around my house.
You to go for a walk.
I walk around my house nonstop. I've almost worn a hole in the floor.
Well,
Okay,
but
so-
as you're walking around your house, we need a mouse update. Are we done here?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm glad somebody had the courage to bring it up.
I brought it up off the start.
4 out of the basement, 4 bodies out of the basement, 4 out of the top floor total. Haven't seen hide nor hair of any mice in about 5 days, but I imagine them out of the corner of my eye nonstop, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm pretty sure they're nesting in my hair in the middle of the night. Every night I wake up and I'm like, oh, good, the mouse. That's great.
Interesting.
Chalmers, you got a call on this? Is he done with this or what? 5 days.
Oh, I think 5 days is a long time to go now. Usually, weather outside can be a factor, whether or not they're coming in and out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
On really cold days, you'll see more. Hot days, you won't see as many.
Oh, good.
But
good,
I think
good.
I think 5 days of the temperatures that we've had, which have been pretty steady, I believe he's done, man. I think you're done.
Well, I'll tell you this. One Game Manor is always going to be known here henceforth as the house with active mousetrap technology. I'm never going to go back to the before.
You can take care of that very simply. Mice cannot fly. Therefore, they are getting in at ground level. Therefore, you need to go around the perimeter of your house, look at about the bottom 1 foot of your house, and see where there's penetrations getting into your house.
Nice.
And
That's what she said.
if you can plug those penetrations, then you'll be mouse free for a
Connor,
long
you're so
longer.
crazy. You know I'm not going to do any of that shit.
I know.
I'm just
I
going
know.
to keep all my traps open. And then people are going to be like, why do you have mouse traps always going in your house? It's disgusting. And then Wanye Jr. is going to get stuck in one of them. And then I'm going to have to change up my game.
Yeah. Maybe just
Especially
now.
Especially when he starts cruising.
Well, I got a child-proofing this beast is going to be a whole different matter altogether. What with all the mouse traps?
Well, I'm going to wrap up this podcast because I'm going to go for a walk to the liquor store and start pre-gaming for the big Bills game tonight. So that's my reason for wrapping this thing up.
Hey,
Fair enough, man.
Hey, are you still going to be a coward? Or are you going to take me up on my kicker versus Josh Brown?
Who's your kicker?
Josh Brown.
Fast.
Newt
I'm saying the Bills kicker will get more fantasy points than
No,
Josh
Josh
Brown.
Allen and Tyson Bass.
What's
Yeah,
your
Josh Allen?
I just
Tyler
miss
Bass,
Josh
by the
Brown
way.
so much.
Yeah, me too.
Tyler Bass, yeah.
What's your
Lance
well? I
Bass
don't.
versus Damon Allen.
You need to. I don't know what your scoring system's like. So if you send me a screenshot of Tyler Bass's game log and a screenshot of Josh Allen's game log, I will do it.
Yeah, well, I my matchup is against Josh Allen. I have the kicker, and the guy who I've already beaten. Sorry, John. He's got Josh Allen.
Also, I don't like 4-1. I don't know. I just don't like that's. I'm a smart
Wow.
better, and that's just not good odds for me. Yeah, I am.
But what do you mean? If a smart bettor bets on something he thinks is going to win, if you wholeheartedly believe you think you're right,
Yeah, okay, but let's
then
say
you have to pay. You have to pay the price of admission.
no. If I'm
I don't
right,
agree with that. That's not true.
That's not true at all. So if we're doing $50, like I have to risk $200 to potentially profit 50. That's sloppy betting. I need better odds than that. If
That's,
it was
that's what is that paying? What is that minus what?
that's like
170?
minus.
I don't even know how to factor that.
No, that's like minus
Minus
two.
170.
That's like minus 500.
I
isn't
don't
it?
know how to I hate the minuses. I like the one because you always know what you're getting. 1.25 to 1.
Minus 500 is 5 to 1.
No, plus 500 is 5 to 1.
Sorry, plus 500
Yeah.
is 5 to
So
1.
so go the reverse. It's plus 500. I'm getting. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm asking for plus 300.
Around there, yeah.
Yeah, no, that would be exactly plus 300. But I don't know what it is on Tyler's side. Is it minus 300?
You're giving me minus 380. That's brutal. I would not.
Yeah.
I would not do a minus 380 money line bet ever. So I'm not doing this.
Let's parlay it with something.
I did
You
a
guys
minus,
are adorable.
Jack
I did
up
a
your
minus-
odds.
I did a minus 264 yesterday on the Arizona Cardinals, and that went well.
Ooh, Andreas
Oh,
Athanasiou is signing with the Los Angeles Kings. I totally
Did your
forgot he
phone
existed.
Did your phone just buzz and that was your news?
Yeah. I get the insider tweets. Sent,
Of course,
right? So I don't miss 'em.
you're actually in the media.
He'll probably be good there, and that'll be annoying.
Because I just want to talk about 1 second before we go. Do we usually talk about our picks on Monday?
Sometimes
Or do
we
we
do,
not
but
talk
I
about
like
something?
saving them for the betting section on Thursday.
Okay.
So we'll get to that
Well,
on Thursday.
I'll
And
tell you
also,
one thing. I'll tell you one thing. I wasn't wrong.
I don't even remember what everyone took. I remember I had Bears -8, but that was it.
I lost. Chiefs won, but did not
Oh, yeah.
cover.
Chalmers, what'd you
There's
do?
one
Seattle -1? You nailed that.
Yeah, I
Jay,
nailed
what'd you
that,
do?
yeah.
I went Bengals.
Oh, yeah, and they won outright. So there you go.
Yeah.
They whooped.
I want to say one thing to Chalmers about non-football stuff. Before we go.
Sure.
Chalmers, I'm very worried about Little Wayne.
I am too.
Yeah.
I'm very, very, very worried about Little Wayne. I love Little Wayne, as everyone knows.
What's going on?
You do.
He's going to jail again.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to jail again because he had gun charges back. I mean, he had to go to Rikers Island for like a year and a half, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he got out, and then he got caught with a gold handgun on his jet. And they think he might go to jail for 8 to 10 years.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
he had to, about 2 weeks ago, he pled guilty to federal gun charges.
And he went and met with Trump beforehand. And I was like, why is he meeting with Trump? There's got to be, he needs a pardon, guaranteed. That's the only reason.
Pardon Wheezy.
Yeah.
Didn't work. And then he sold Nicki Minaj and Drake's masters that he owned up to a certain point in their career for $100 million. He has sold them. That's not a good sign.
Not Baby?
No, well, I'm sure they got a cut of it. But like Young Money Records sold the rights to Nicki Minaj and Drake's masters.
Do you know who bought them?
Universal, I think.
I don't know. I'm asking because I
think it was Universal Records. But
why wouldn't Drake buy them?
Good question. Probably because he wasn't an open bidding. Right? So it's probably like some weird janky ass record.
Yeah, but that would be like
well, Taylor Swift's shit got sold without her say so. The shit happened.
I know, but Drake and Lil Wayne are like brothers.
I know, unless Lil Wayne's going to jail forever and he's got to get smoke.
Well,
does
Drake have $100 million?
Drake has everything in this world because of Lil Wayne. You don't think he would have given him like some money without even this being like, hey, dude, like I'll get you, I'll take care of your shit while you're gone.
Well, who knows? Maybe Universal has this thing with the Young Money imprint where they have the right of first refusal, or who knows what shady shit's buried in their contract. But Lil Wayne is definitely getting his affairs in order.
Yeah, he with the sentencing hearing, according to CNN, is coming up on January 28th. So we'll see what he's got going on in the next month or so.
He's put out all this fucking music too, like all this music. If you go on YouTube, there's a shitload of Lil Wayne music that just hit the street.
I guess 2020 is getting worse for somebody.
2021 might get worse for Lil Wayne.
Oh no.
All right. Well, there you go. We started with Star Wars talk. We got some hockey, which the hockey talk, that got me up to a solid 10. I was fired up. And then we ended with a little bit of Lil Wayne chatter. So that was good. We also had a listener profile. Thanks to our friend Chandler Dixon. Shout out to him. He's our listener of the episode. And
where are you, Chandler? I want to know where you're listening in the States. Message.
Yeah. DM us. And enjoy the World Juniors, boys. I got World Junior previews going up on the website every Canada game day, so I'm going to shamelessly plug that. Don't forget about the 50-50 either. Support Hockey Canada. That's always good stuff. Shout out to our friends at Oodle Noodle. Twig and Berries has the Boxing Day sale going on right now, and that is everything I had written down on my piece of paper for today's episode. Thanks for giving me an hour. We covered it all. We did. We covered all the bases, and I got my ad reads in clean, so I'm a happy guy.
And $102,000 on that 50-50 pot here as of 2 p.m. on a Monday afternoon.
A 10G bump.
10G bump. It's the real life bump. I'm just kidding. All right. Episode 242 of the Real Life Podcast brought to you by Oodle Noodle. It is over.
Great job on making it through the entire hour of the Real Life Podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you get your podcast from.